What I'd like in agreement between you and me now is a refund on Matt Turner. I just felt like when you guys turned up, the players they knew it was done, and we wanted it more that night. And I'll be honest with you, I've got a lot of respect for your club. I don't see it as progress. I was expecting you guys to kick on this year. I told you last year. I told you when we met earlier on this year, you need a number 9.
He doesn't shy away from the rich history and heritage of Arsenal. He's himself mentioned it without being asked.
Where are the Arsenal fan standards now? Are you going to accept finishing second or third again this year, having a run in the Champions League? Or are you going to be the Arsenal that I remember?
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Box to Box. I thought, you know what? Let's speak to the boot room right next to the Nottingham Forest ground, the City ground, the home pub for the home supporters. And they said, yeah, you're more than welcome. Come in and record what you need to record. So we're here doing Box to Box at the home pub for Nottingham Forest fans, and none other than Wolfie with me, Forest Fan TV. Make sure you show them some love. Channel link in the title, description, all of that. But Wolfie, it's been a little while, man. How you been?
It's good to see you, bro. How you been?
Where's your son? I was looking forward to seeing your son more than you.
He wanted to cut off school today, man.
So, and you didn't let him?
Didn't let him. I said, he goes, but Turkish, we went shopping last time.
Tell him to DM me on Instagram next time. I'll provide the doctor's note and then he can make his way here.
He says hi, man.
My family all good?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. How you doing? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, 100%.
See how we treat you, bro. I come down to the Emirates, you put me outside, we keep you in the warmth there, man.
Well, to be honest, I mean, we wanted to be in and around the Nottingham Forest ground, but we couldn't get that done today, so we got the next best thing. We're inside, we're chilling, nice warm environment. Again, big up the boot room and big up the hospitality shown from all the Forest fans so far since we've been down here.
Yeah, they're all telling you about the 2 stars, aren't they?
yeah, I've seen that. I mean, that caught my eye, back-to-back Champions League titles.
We've won more European Cups than we have domestic, so
crazy.
I think one of the only clubs to do that. Won the title, and 2 cups, so yeah, not too bad. But that was before I was born. Before I was born, man. I ain't seen much since.
Well, listen, I mean, there's a lot of new generation Arsenal fans that could say the same. They haven't seen much since. Listen, we haven't got a Champions League in our trophy cabinet in years gone past, but we've got a hell of a lot of history, heritage, league titles, FA Cups, League Cups, all of that. But the new school fans haven't seen Arsenal get over the line in a major trophy like the Premier League, like potentially a Champions League. And we currently sit 5 points off the leaders. Hasn't been the best of form recently. I mean, we've bounced back with a 5-0 win against Palace following that winter break, but that came after the back of a 1 win in 7 across all competitions, which leaves these games coming up, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, West Ham and so on, as must wins. I mean, usually I start with Forest, Wolfie, but let's start with Arsenal this time. Are you wary of a wounded animal coming, or are you optimistic that there's something to take? Because our last 3 visits here, we've got nothing out of them.
There's something about this ground in Arsenal, you just struggle. Be it in the cup, the last couple of times we played you, or last season. Yeah, last season was under different circumstances. Yeah. It was almost the perfect storm. If we won, we were safe. Mm-hmm. You were still in the title, but officially out. And, I just felt like when you guys turned up, the players they knew it was done, and we wanted it more that night. Or that afternoon, whatever it was. So for me, last year is not where we are this year. But I've been looking at Arsenal, obviously watching a lot of your games and what have you. And I'm just there thinking, if I compare you to your first half last season, to your first half this season, and I look at it and I think, is it progress or not? And I'll be honest with you, I've got a lot of respect for your club. I don't see it as progress. I was expecting you guys to kick on this year. I told you last year. I told you when we met earlier on this year, you need a number 9. Yeah. And I just still can't believe you haven't addressed that. You're creating so many chances and you're just not finishing your dinner. And for me, that's the biggest thing that's standing out at Arsenal. It's almost like, I think to myself, Declan Rice has been fantastic. Brilliant signing for you guys. But with that, could you have, use someone else in there like a Jorginho and had put that money for a number 9 potentially?
We're talking about money we could have spent better. I mean, there's another player that came in, I think at 100 million on Rice. The rest is history with that one with Havertz, 65M. That was probably where a lot of Arsenal fans look and think, could it's no longer a question of could that money have been better spent elsewhere. It should have been better spent elsewhere.
Because I said to you when we met earlier in the season, I still don't know what player he is. Is he a 9? Is he a midfielder? Is he a winger? Is he a false 9? And I'm still not seeing it from him on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I feel like Arteta has to try and figure out how to play him because it's his signing, you know? And I just look at him and I think he unbalances your team. He does. And
Straight stop for Chris Wood.
mate, you can have it.
He's got 8 goals in the league this season.
Yeah, he scored more than any of your strike
yeah.
force, hasn't he? He's done all right. You know, Wood has just been a revelation under Nuno. He was, in my opinion, one of the weirdest deals I'd ever seen. 19 million on a 1.5-year contract. Yeah. But under Nuno, he's brought the best out of him. But yeah, he would do okay. I don't know why in this window you haven't gone out for even like a Solanke. Or Wilson apparently is available at Newcastle. He could do a job. Just someone who's a bit of a goal hanger, can stay in the box, put those in. Because you're creating so many chances. But it just doesn't feel as free-flowing as the first half of last year for me.
Yeah.
And I said to you last time, I said, this is the time where Arteta needs to be judged now. As we were talking about rich heritage, I remember your leagues. I remember the Invincibles and all that.
Yeah.
Where are the Arsenal fans' standards now? Are you going to accept finishing 2nd or 3rd again this year, having a run in the Champions League? Or are you going to be the Arsenal that I remember and winning stuff and demanding titles and things? And I feel like the expectations, the standards have dropped a little. It might be a generational thing. Maybe, like you said, there's the younger fan base that won't remember. Yeah. But I remember those teams, and those teams would not accept.
To some of these young fans, when I criticize what I'm seeing now, when I raise my concerns, to them, this is the best they've seen. So they come from that angle, not realizing the best I've seen is Arsenal competing, winning titles. So there's that unbalance there between the new generation Arsenal fans and some of the older ones. But listen, one thing on Mikel, I think you're right. It's time, it is well and truly time to judge. But he doesn't shy away from the rich history and heritage of Arsenal. He's himself mentioned it without being asked. He said Arsenal should be winning major trophies. We should be competing in the Champions League. How has this club not got a Champions League? How has this club gone 20 years without? He's said all the right things over the last few years. So I think he knows that the pressure is on. And I think it's up to him to thrive under that pressure now. And we are 5 points adrift. Massive uphill task to catch both Liverpool and City and then overtake, come the end of the season, game week 38. But all we can do is focus one game at a time. And the one coming up next is Forest. And for us, it's a big one because that Palace one, albeit a big result, 5-0 goals scored left, right and centre, still a bit of question marks about what you mentioned about the fluidity in front of goal. Have we got the cutting edge? So against Forest away, where I think you're in pretty decent form. I mean, you've lost one in the last 5, that being the last one out. But aside from that, you're in pretty decent form.
Tony the cheat.
What did you make? Because a lot's been said about that. For me, okay, let me give my opinion.
I want to hear it from a neutral view.
He got away with it, and for me, credit to him for trying. It's in those moments, it's up to either the referee to notice it or your players to notice it and raise the alarm. No one did. He got away with it, and I think, well done to you. I mean, nothing against Forest.
I hear where it is. Like, would I be saying the same if it was Morgan Gibbs-White doing it or not? I don't mind the ball move. The thing that got me was the foam. The moving of the foam. That's just taking it too far. But looking at it from a Forest perspective, that wall, where was it? Where was Matt Turner? Why didn't he line that wall up right? What was Callum Hudson-Odoi doing? He was almost like he was in the crowd just watching it. So that annoyed me. But outside of that, we have been playing really good football. Yeah. Newcastle, St James's, not many have gone there and won. We destroyed them 3-1.
Chris Wood hat-trick.
Chris Wood hat-trick against
beautiful second finish as well.
Cristiano Woodinho. It was sensational, that game. Manchester United here. I mean, we all know how bad they are, but we were very comfortable against them. Obviously, the Bournemouth match here, there was the controversy again with Bolly getting sent off for absolute stupidity from the ref. So we've got our excuses, but ignoring all of those, when you look at what Nuno's doing, he's just changed the club. He's come in, he's got an understanding of the heritage, he's connected with the fans already. He's coming off the back of Steve Cooper, who, was idolised by the majority of the fan base. But the football is night and day different. When we played you in all the games under Cooper, it was low block, park the bus. It's not Nuno's philosophy. Nuno wants to attack but he will still play cautiously.
Balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced. It's way more. That's the perfect word. It's more balanced.
Yeah.
And he's got a good record against you guys as well. I think he's played 7, won 3, and drawn 2, and only lost 2 to you guys.
Mad, yeah.
So he does well. So I'm expecting a really good game. I think there's just something about this place when it's Arsenal. I always feel slightly more confident. The thing that worries me is all our AFCON players out. There's a few key injuries as well. Taiwo's been out for a while. We need that strike. He bullied your defence here last season, got the goal.
Yeah.
So I am worried about what kind of team we're going to be able to put out. Obviously, when you see the team sheet, I'll be able to give you a better answer, but we won't know that yet. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It always is. I still rate pretty much the only weaknesses I see in Arsenal. For me, I would still say left back is a bit of a problem for you guys. I know Zinchenko's inverting into midfield.
Yeah.
I still think a tyranny there. I still quite rate him, but I know that's not going to happen.
No, it's done.
It's done, yeah. And I think he's still got things coming forward. Timber, we spoke about him last time. He's back probably, March time or so?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, yeah.
I think people forget what a huge miss he is for you guys, because I highly rate him, and he got injured.
So do we. Because no one's really seen him at Arsenal give it. Yeah. He's somewhat forgotten now. He's like a player for next season.
Yeah, I cursed you when you asked me last time who did I think your best signing was. I said Timber, and he got injured that day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to ask you that again. I'm not going to ask you that again. I mean, I looked at top scorers: Chris Wood with 8 goals, Alanga 4, Awani 4. I mean, goals don't seem to be a problem, but defensively, conceding a hell of a lot of goals. Conceded 3 last time, scored 2, and if you're scoring 2 away from home, that tends to more often than not get you something from the game. But defensively is what's let you down this season. I mean, couple that up with FFP or PSR, whichever one has raised the alarm about a possible points deduction investigation. What's that left the mood like with yourself and Forest fans in general? Is there a valid worry that a points deduction might come this season, and in turn, considering where you are now without the points deduction, that could seal your fate?
It's worrying. I mean, to take your first point about the defence, I mean, let me give you a fun stat. Forest have lost 5 times this season, 3-2. It's just crazy. And most of those games,
when I'm
we
saying
had the
2
lead.
goals should get you something,
I'm like, you know what? Every time Forest score early, I'm like, oh crap, man, go again, and it tends to happen. So yeah, defensively, what I'd like an agreement between you and me now is a refund on Matt Turner, because bro,
I'll give you a refund on Turner if you can get Chelsea to give us a refund on Havertz.
All right. Well, what if we chuck in sending Nuno Tavares back as well?
Oh, no, that one's done. That one's done. That's your problem to have now, mate.
But I mean, it stems from our goalkeeper, right? Turner's good at shot stopping. With his feet, he's terrible. I mean, he kicks the ball out more times than I've ever seen. I think he thinks he's still back in America playing NFL, and getting the clock to stop when you kick it out. But he also just looks nervous. He's made huge mistakes against Liverpool, against Man U. He seems to save them for the the bigger clubs, and I think that just breeds that uncertainty into the defense. Yeah. If the defense isn't confident in the keeper, then you're kind of at 6s and 7s.
100%.
Where we're conceding most of our goals is from dead balls and free kicks, etc. And you guys are top of the table, though. Even though I don't think you've been that great at free kick, at corners and what have you.
I get you. I understand, yeah.
But I think you will create us a threat. Gabriel, I think he did climb a bit in that first goal against Palace.
A lot of players have climbed. Newcastle.
Big 6 bias. But, the point is you've got big players who can come in and cause us a problem on the dead balls. So we got to be careful we're not giving plenty of corners to you, dangerous free kicks and what have you. So that is a worry for me. But it's a case of we've got a young defence at the moment. Murillo's come in. He's been sensational, but he's been a bit shaky aerially as well. We don't know who's going to pair up with him. It could be Omar Bamidele, another young kid. Maybe you might see a Joe Worrell come in. I'd rather not, but potentially that could happen. So you're spot on in what you're saying. Defensively, I'm a little worried about it. It's a little shaky, but I think it all starts with Matt Turner.
Fair enough. And to be honest, it just came to my mind now. There was a tweet recently from Romano saying Marseille are interested in Tavares.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
we won't
up to
release
Forest to release him back.
Forest, if you're watching, let him go. You know what? He's good going forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen that.
So shaky at the back for
Say the
me
least.
personally. Yeah. And it's like, and we spoke about it at the time when it happened. And that's what you told me. And you were spot on in what you said. That's what we're seeing out on the pitch.
He's an exciting player, but you don't want a description of your fullback being exciting first. It's kind of worrying.
Exactly. And, you know, you do see the potential in him. But you do just think, I'd rather you were more solid at the back and then...
He looks a bit raw. Like, I'd say raw, like he's 17, 18, 19, where you might shake that off moving forward, but he hasn't shaken it off.
Do you remember when in the cup match when Jed Spence destroyed him here and he got subbed off?
Yeah.
So we're still seeing a bit of that. Is he going to improve? Probably, but is it our responsibility now while he's on loan?
You know, time, patience.
But if Marseille want him, I just don't know why they're not sorting it out.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. By the time we play each other, maybe that is sorted out. But I'm sure he's going to be ineligible for that, considering it's a loan move. But let's...
Oh, that's a bonus. I didn't even think about it. He just cheered me up.
There you go.
There we go. Tuffalo coming back in.
Unless maybe we said, hey, play him, we're good. I don't know. I thought usually he's ineligible. But before we round off with predictions, I want to know the key man for you. I mean, you look at Arsenal this season, a lot of question marks about Saka's performances, Jesus' output, Martinelli's been on the bench a couple of times, Trossard in and out, Odegaard not the same as last year, Havertz come in underwhelming. Who for you is the key man in that attacking 5-6?
I think for me, your attack starts with your defence. I think Saliba and Gabriel are giving you that solidity that you can kind of commit men forward. I said to you last time, Odegaard I thought was the string puller. I don't think he's been as hot this season.
He's dropping too deep this season.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not involving himself at the thick end of it. I think, if I'm honest, Jesus hasn't really lit up the Premier League this season as he did last. I feel that individually they've all had decent games here and there. Martinelli coming on for that cameo against Palace looked sharp again. I just think as a collective, for whatever reason, it's not clicking. And normally I'd say Saka, but again, his performance hasn't been great. I would say if Martinelli starts, having been dropped from that team, I would expect him to come onto that game hungry to prove himself. Because I rate Trossard. I think Trossard can do a job.
Player,
and if, you know, Martinelli now needs to come onto that pitch and be like, this is my position. Don't drop me again. And I think Martinelli for me is the one that will worry me the most. Out of your attacking players there.
There's still question marks about whether he starts because he got 2 goals. But Trossard got a goal and a good performance.
Trossard looked good as well.
So if you had to pick out Trossard and Martinelli to start on the left, you're probably going Trossard because you're more wary of Martinelli. But from the preview that I've done with Robbie and James, the predicted 11, make sure you check out the predicted 11 previews, all of that. Another question came about in the midfield, and I'm just going to ask you here, who would you be more wary of? Jorginho in the 3, allowing Rice to be the 8 next to Odegaard, or would you rather come up against Rice in the 6 DM with Emile Smith-Rowe and Odegaard in front?
Mate, that's like, seriously.
So it's either Emile Smith-Rowe or Jorginho.
Come on, bro. You're making me pick players that we would dream of. You know, it's like I'd take either. I think for me, I feel Rice himself has come out and said he feels more comfortable as the 6. And you know, he has got a few more goals this season. He's been very instrumental in your midfield, so he does worry me. But Jorginho again looked good in his last few games. He pulls the strings quite well. You know, if we give away a penalty, he's pretty solid with them. I'd go Rice and Odegaard for me. I think they're
with Jorginho.
Yeah, Jorginho as well. I think it's just more balanced.
So is that you being more weary of Jorginho playing than Smith-Rowe?
Smith-Rowe hasn't had enough game time.
Okay. So you'd rather see Smith-Rowe being a Forest
fan?
If
Smith-Rowe, but he's just as good, bro. You know, but
on his day,
I rate him. If Forest want to take him off you on loan, I'd take that.
But if he doesn't, get his act together for the next 4 months, there might be availability in the summer.
I'll take that. But for me, if I wanted to see someone, it would be him. But all my lot who are probably watching will say, I'll jinx it. And if he does play, then he's going to score. So cool. I just think you're spoilt for choices. And I think this is Arteta's problem. He still hasn't, 6 months into the season? I don't think the balance, he's got it quite right. You got a lot of talent, but finding that balance, and you've got to get that number 9.
100%. Wolfie, it's that time. It's predictions, and Nottingham Forest are the home team. So I'm going to pass it over to you to make the first prediction.
Do you know what? I'm quietly confident.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like I just feel it all depends on the team. If the team is strong enough based on whatever injuries coming back and what have you, and at the City grounds, you guys struggle here. I think we can sneak it again. We're a better team in theory than we were last season. I'm gonna go 1-0, bro.
1-0.
1-0.
That'll be your third. The last two fixtures here, Arsenal, Forest. 1-0.
It will be tight. We'll defend well, I hope. You know what? Maybe Matt Turner will be cup tied against you guys as well.
Oh, yeah, the double agent there, Matt Turner. I haven't got Tavares there.
That's my worry. I'm gonna go 1-0. I'm more optimistic. I'm showing a little more chest than I normally show to you. I just feel that Nuno, with his record against you guys, I'm quietly confident, bro.
All right, so having talked to you, you telling me Nuno doesn't favour the low block, more balanced. He will seek to find goals. Defensively, some concerns. I'm going to go with my typical 3-1 scoreline, but this one has a bit more base behind it. I tend to go 3-1 week in, week out.
Bro, you've done it every time we've met up, bro.
Yeah, no, we still haven't got it in the bag. So until we get the 3-1 here in the bag, it's 3-1, people. But Wolfie, let them know where they can find you. I'm going to tag your channel.
Yeah.
I'll let them know anyway.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, on Forest Fan TV. Come show us some love. And yeah, as always, I just want to say a massive thank you, Turkish, for inviting me. It's always good to meet up with you AFTV boys. And best of luck to you the rest of the season. I hope you win the league, but
yeah, so
it's
do I.
Be tough,
so does your son. So.
He does it.
But listen, go show Wolfie some love and the team over at Forest Fan TV. Like I said, it's in the title. We'll put it in the description as well. You don't have to leave the page. You just click it, subscribe, and show them some love. Wolfie done some content. Forest Fan TV. I've done some content with Robbie as well. So make sure you go check that out. Check out all the content coming out here, thick and fast. And yeah, people, hit the like button, love for the love, and give us your thoughts, predictions, lineups, all of that in the comment section below. We're out. Peace.